I'm Batman.
I'm Batman. Fear. I'm vengeance. I can't help the fact that I feel this way.
What does a character like this, a movie like this, and the vocals of an artist like this have in common? They help tell the story of Batman. Batman, what an iconic name. When I say that, what comes to mind? Do you think of this almighty badass that's always prepared with prep time? Do you think of this hardened vigilante that doesn't play well with others? Or do you picture a sad, broken man whose parents got shot in an alley at a young age, who is now stuck in Arrested Development? These are all fair sentiments to have when thinking about Batman. But Matt Reeves decided to go in a more interesting direction with his interpretation of The Dark Knight, setting his Batman in a Gotham City that feels ripped off the screens of Batman the Animated Series. Granted, a little less Art Deco for my liking, but beggars can't be choosers. Over the years, we've heard Batman being referred to many titles: The Dark Knight, The Caped Crusader, and more importantly, World's Greatest Detective. What does that mean? Is it just some fancy title that they throw around? In this iteration of The Caped Crusader, we get to see him live up to that title of World's Greatest Detective, as he has a mental tug of war with Paul Dano's Edward Nashton, aka the Riddler. Ditching the whimsical and cartoonish persona in favor of something more gruesome and torturous. Matt Reeves' Batman draws heavily from his spiritual predecessors, from the likes of The Shadow, The Spirit, and even the likes of Humphrey Bogart, in order to showcase the more hard-boiled side of Batman's nature. In this film, we see something we have yet to see in a live-action Batman film till now: narration. Now granted, this film technically isn't based off of Year One, but if you've seen that movie and read that comic, it definitely has some parallels.
It's not just a call. It's a warning. To them.
"18 years since all sense left my life. Yes, Father."
A vengeful, angry Batman who is addicted to fighting crime, borrowing elements from characters like Sherlock Holmes. You can argue that Alfred is his Mycroft, while Jim Gordon plays the role of Watson, acting as a springboard for Bruce and his mind to uncover the hidden mysteries revolving Gotham City's corruption. Batman doesn't want to be like your standard modern superhero flick. It enjoys taking elements from other narratives and genres and plays into them. This feels like a gritty noir film, or as many would call it, what if David Fincher made a Batman movie? This is no disrespect to Matt Reeves, who is an excellent director in his own right. The man loves to deal with characters who are tortured and broken. Another aspect that allows this film to feel like a grimy, dirty film noir is Gotham City herself. She's gotten a facelift. The last 32 years, she's gone from otherworldly and mystical with the likes of the Burton films and the Schumacher films to feeling like, Chicago in the Nolan films and a background character in the Snyder films. But in 2022, oh boy, does she feel alive. She grits her teeth and bears it all to us in 4K. Thanks to the help of cinematographer Greg Fraser, whose work you might notice from the likes of movies and TV shows like Rogue One, The Mandalorian, and Dune, Fraser and Reeves have Gotham feel like both Batman's greatest ally and simultaneously his greatest enemy. Every nook and cranny is somewhere for Batman to hide or escape to, while underneath the surface harboring secrets that fundamentally break Bruce down to his 8-year-old self. What are these secrets, you may ask? What could have had the Dark Knight this shook? Borrowing elements straight from the likes of Batman Earth 1 and The Long Halloween, with a pinch of Telltale Batman to boot. We see that the Waynes weren't all messianic as Batman remembers them to be. Thomas Wayne was Bruce's ideal paragon of truth and justice. But at the end of the day, he was just a man trying to do the right thing. But even the road to hell is paved in good intentions. We come to see the sentiment when Thomas aligns himself with the likes of Carmine Falcone, the Godfather Kingpin of Gotham City. And in his one moment of weakness, Thomas implores Carmine to take care of a reporter that would undermine the safety of his family, revealing Martha Wayne's dark past, inadvertently leading to the reporter's death and a stain on the Wayne family and that legacy. Speaking of Martha, just like in the Earth 1 books, Martha is a product of the Arkham family, where in regular continuity, she comes from the Kane family. Having Martha herself suffer from psychotic episodes begs into question, did Bruce inherit any of his parental sins? Does his constant need to put himself in the midst of fire with the criminal activity harken back to his father's need to get rid of the problems plaguing their family? Or does his mental sanity come into question like the likes of his mother when it comes to his obsession with the need for vengeance? There's a common critique when it comes to Batman and his war on crime. Why doesn't he leave this matter to the police? Why doesn't he use his money to solve all the problems in Gotham City? While in the comics, this question is often tackled as he uses his philanthropy to help many people in Gotham, as he provides welfare and funds the education system and even seeks to rebuild the architecture of the city. This movie, however, tackles the fundamental question of the Wayne family's wealth, as it is the driving force for all crime in the city. It's the Wayne Foundation's renewal program fund that acts as the kitty litter for all organized crime, the likes of Falcone using it to buy off every elected official and department of government in the city. With this revelation in mind, we can understand the machinations of the Riddler's design at play. While in previous incarnations, the Riddler tries to come off as the smartest man in the room, having a constant need to flex his intellectual prowess on others as a means to feel superior. This Riddler is an instrument of vengeance, taking back revenge on Gotham City's most corrupt members of society, acting as a voice for the less fortunate members of the populace. While his methods are abhorrent, drawing from the likes of Jigsaw in the Saw films, Edward Nashton is the dark mirror to Bruce Wayne, who vocalizes himself as the embodiment of vengeance. Both men seek to punish the wicked. Both methods may come off as extremely cruel, but it's that fine line that separates the likes of Riddler and a character like Selina Kyle from Batman. Catwoman, aka Selina Kyle, many would argue Batman's one true love, often portraying herself as the femme fatale who uses her expertise of feminine wiles and stealth to acquire a better life. In this film, everything she does seems to be altruistic. She too acts like an instrument of vengeance, with that being revenge for her dear friend who was murdered at the hands of Carmine Falcone, or vengeance for her mother who was also killed and disrespected at the hands of Carmine Falcone. Falcone. Tomato. Her need for vengeance is almost biblical, as it's a battle between her own father, who couldn't even stomach claiming her. It takes the watchful eyes and stern words of Batman to draw Selina back from the brink of murder, a place he knows that he could never follow, as it would make them the same as the criminal filth that they swear to get revenge against. It's Bruce's use of espionage and subtle tactics like following Selina and gathering clues about her larger role in this crime opera that shows his intellectual side. But what revelation leads Bruce into giving Selina such wise words of wisdom? Well, it must be the moment when Alfred almost dies due to the Riddler's puzzle. It's that moment in the hospital confronting Alfred about his parents' dark past that brings into question his reason for being an agent of vengeance. With all his bravado and brute force, it ultimately comes down to his mind and his morality that wins the day. Going from the embodiment of vengeance to the beacon of hope that the city needs to rebuild after a series of horrendous tragedies from the hands of evil people. These are the elements that make a real detective and hero. This is a love letter to the character of Batman, and Matt Reeves truly understands what it means to tell a story of such an iconic figure. With the iconic tonality of films such as Seven, the brutality of films such as Saw and Zodiac, and the pulp feeling of the likes of The Spirit, all orchestrated from the tones and melodies of Nirvana's Something in the Way. This is a Batman movie for the history books. If you like anything I said, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you know the next time we upload. And thanks for watching.
Didn't realize that the show